Astrid, thanks so much. Okay, I guess I'll continue rather than leave meeting. Yeah, thank you, Libby and Astrid and the rest of the staff that worked to put this great meeting together. And thank you to all of you that are taking the time to participate in this. The part of my job that I love the most is getting out to visit chapters. And I haven't been able to do that now. I think the last time I got out and visited a chapter was probably in about the February timeframe last year. So second best is being able to do this with you, being able to see you folks and thank you in person for all the great work you do as volunteers in leading our chapters. I know some of you are chapter presidents, some of you are membership chairs, and I think, you know, like Frank, we've got some of you in other positions. So thank you so much. I know this is not easy to do, you know, as well as all your responsibilities in your day job, but it is critically important. Without our chapters, ASMC does not exist. It's all there is to it. When I go out and speak to chapters, one of the main points I make is that everything that ASMC National does, and especially related to, you know, national PDI, doesn't come close to matching the overall impact that each of you in our chapters has in providing professional development and training and education and opportunities to our ASMC membership, as well as to the defense financial management community overall, and contributing to the effectiveness of the community and the stewardship of taxpayer dollars supporting our national defense. So thank you so much for what you do. I want to just quickly mention National PDI. We are on the short track toward PDI, kicking off, you know, next Wednesday. We've got about 6,000 registrants for PDI, and that's pretty cool in a virtual environment. I think the most we've had for an on-site PDI was the past 2 years when we conducted it, 2019, 2018, we had about 4,200 folks in person on site at those PDIs. Not sure what future PDIs are going to be. I'm hoping, we're working and planning and communicating, you know, with DOD to make those a hybrid event, you know, a combination on-site and virtual event. I can tell you this, virtual PDI this year, virtual only, is taking as much or more staff time in development and execution than on-site takes. It is amazing what all you have to go through with each workshop, with each speaker, tech preps, all that kind of thing in setting up a virtual event. And I want you to know the staff is doing a great job. We are taking on a lot of risk with National PDI 2021 in a virtual mode. A lot of organizations will do virtual events, but they'll have like maybe a minimum of 3 or 4 concurrent sessions with their event. And I'm talking about the number of sessions you present during a single time period. So we are presenting 7 concurrent sessions on Friday and 6 on Thursday. I think on Wednesday, we're doing like 2 or 3 maybe mini courses. You know, our event really kicks off Wednesday afternoon with former SecDef David L. Norquist opening as our keynote speaker. It's going to be another exceptional, outstanding training event. I am concerned about the technical side of it. I'm encouraging as much people as we can among those 6,000 to log on to our EventPower platform in advance, test your connection, test your video and audio and all of that. We're also encouraging folks not to try to access that platform from their workstations in the Pentagon or otherwise that, you know, have issues with the use of Zoom. For the most part, we're hoping that people participate in PDI from their home, to do it from a workstation, you know, in the office. We hope that you can find an area where you can use Zoom. We've had to check that out within the Pentagon. and there are a couple of locations that some of our plenary session speakers will be using. So bottom line, I hope all of you are going to be able to participate in virtual PDI. It is going to be a great event. And I look forward to those of you that can participate in it and doing so. And, participating, answering, asking questions and all of that. Let me move on to this session. And I also want to mention thank you to those of you that have taken the time to, as chapter presidents, to complete our survey that we put together. Libby will be talking about some of the results of that shortly. And it really does help us inform, our communications and programs, going forward. It's the first time really, and Astrid came up with the idea. And, kudos to Astrid for thinking about putting together a short survey. I kind of expanded on it. It turned into about a 10 or 11 question survey, but critical, important information for us. So Libby, again, will be briefing a little bit about the results of that survey. What I want to ask you to do, if any of you have not yet taken the 5 minutes that it will take you to complete that survey, please take the time to do it. I think we've had maybe about 21 chapters, completed. We need all 100 plus chapters to do that. I'll be sending up a follow-up message to those chapters that have not done it. But if you're one of those that's a chapter president has not done it, please take the time as soon as you can to complete that survey for us. And then finally, I just want to mention membership and the challenges that we've had overall in this past year with COVID. Frank, you mentioned earlier about, the difficulties in finding someone to step up as chapter president, with Mitzi leaving in a week. In a COVID environment with so much going on, that is a tough thing. But we are here to help. Frank, I'm pretty sure we can find the 49er chapter is one of our great chapters, someone to take over as chapter president. I'll put out a note to folks and just encourage as much as I can, someone to take the reins, even in this COVID environment. It's getting better, folks, obviously. When we talk about, Dee's memorial service being an in-person event, when y'all do that in about a month. So, things are coming together. Chapters are, for the most part, getting back on their feet. Some have been able to maintain things in this virtual environment. But I'm not going to steal any more of Libby's and Astrid's thunder. With that, I'm going to hang on as much as I can here and will be available, at the end for any Q&A or anything like that as things go here as we proceed. So Libby, I think I turn it over to you next, and
Great.
Over to you. Thanks, folks.
I'd like to make a, thanks, Al. I'd like to make a request. If you guys in the chat, you'll notice that there is a copy of the agenda of the items that we are going to be covering today. I would also ask that you put the chapter that you represent in the chat, just so that we can make sure that we know which chapters were represented during this webinar. It's really important for us to be able to go back, and if there were questions, to be able to reach out. So if you could just do that, that would be great. So we'll get started with the chapter president survey. Thank you to those who completed it. Lisa, if you could please pull up the chapter survey screen so we can start going through the responses. I'm going to briefly go through the results while she's doing that. I'm going to briefly go through the results of the survey, and feel free to chime in as we are going through this. I'd like for it to be a back and forth, a give and take. So feel free. All right, so we had 28 total responses, which I think is really great, given that given COVID and given firewalls and the fact that we're trying to get in touch with all of you, and everyone's busy. So we had 28 responses. If we could go to question 2, you can see here all of the different chapters that responded. The second question, which we found really interesting and that we were interested in finding out how you guys are doing, is in the past 12 months, has your chapter conducted any periodic professional development sessions? And as you can see from the chart, we have a little over 60% who have, but 38.5% who have not. There's some questions following this in the survey that talk about people not really sure how to approach this, and we have some answers that we'd like to share with you. But if anyone would like to share now why they did not have the opportunity to continue with any professional development sessions, that would be great. Anybody out there willing to share? All right. If not, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. Here we go. We don't know if many of you know this or not, but ASMC has a Zoom Pro account, and we are offering it to chapters who don't have other resources. So this slide will just kind of show you, if you have conducted the virtual PDI session, did you use ASMC or did you use some type of resource that you have available at your local command? So let's see, yeah, about 11% used our Zoom Pro account, but 46% used another platform, which is good to know. And Lisa, is there a way to show those different? Yeah, there we go. So you can see some of the different platforms that chapters have been using to stay in touch online with their members throughout the pandemic. So this might give you some ideas, but Astrid will talk a little bit later on if you're having problems within your chapter, getting this kind of technology. She will be happy to talk to you and even schedule a time to set up a time to talk separately regarding how we can get you guys online. Now, the next question, number 4, was, were you previously aware that ASMC had this resource to share with you as a chapter? And we were really quite taken aback that almost 70% of you weren't aware of it. We've been trying to get the word out via message to chapters, via newsletters, via social media, all different kinds of ways that we've been trying to communicate. So again, if you have an interest in participating or working with us regarding this Zoom Pro account that we have set up for chapters and for ASMC membership, feel free to reach out. Okay, number 5. Let's see, if your chapter is not conducted virtual PDI, we wanted you to talk about the primary barriers, and we can see the biggest was really people were unsure how to provide a virtual PDI. And again, this goes back to the technology, which we were talking about before. Lisa, could you please click on the responses that we got, the 5 for the other barriers for those who did not, up a little? Nope. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it was COVID. Couldn't get the membership to participate, challenges with using Zoom on US government systems, and they have conducted virtual training. So again, we can't emphasize enough that we have this resource, and we're here to help you and to keep your members engaged. So if you could, reach out to us and help us help you, that would be great. Moving on to number 6, one of the new processes that we have instituted is the ACH, which is depositing the chapter rebates directly into the chapter's accounts. This saves us so much time, and this allows you instant access to your rebate money to do things with your chapter. We see here from the respondents that almost 75% have already signed up and about a quarter have not signed up. We are no longer cutting checks. So if you have questions about this, about the ACH and the ACH forms and all the information that we have sent out, I believe the ACH form is in the chapter president section of the website. I know that it's in the chapter treasurer section of Engage, but feel free to reach out to the membership mailbox or to Astrid or to me, and we'd be more than happy to get you that information so that you can get your rebates start being entered into your bank account since we're not cutting checks going forward. Okay, number 7.
Hey, Libby, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Libby.
No, don't.
To
That's
let
fine.
everyone know, I will actually post a copy of the ACH form to the chat, just like I did the agenda.
That would be great. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you. All right. One of the things that we have wondered for a long time with chapters is what your fiscal year is. So that was one of the questions that Al had decided to ask and that we'd like to include in our chapter profiles in our membership system. So as you can see, the largest percentage is the fiscal year end that ASMC follows, which is 1 July to 30 June. We have a few that are on the government schedule, which is 1 October to 30 September, and then one that's on a calendar, and then others. So we can see that primarily you're on a July 1 to June 30, and that's really helpful for us to know when to expect an update for things like chapter officers and those kinds of things. So thank you for sharing that information with us.
Libby, if I may, one reason we included this question was because we have thought in the past about standardizing the ASMC chapter's fiscal year to the same fiscal year that we have at national level, which is 1 July to 30 June. I don't know what these stats will look like once we have responses from all the chapters, but I would be curious from any chapters that are participating, with us now that do not have a 1 July to 30 June fiscal year. Would it be a big problem for you guys if we did standardize it to 1 July? I mean, I see one chapter here, or 3 chapters have a 1 October to 30 September, which is actually a really busy time of the year to change chapter leadership, as fiscal year end approaches and audit kicks up and all of that. It's already started before then, but it really gets busy that time of the year. So again, if any of you don't have a 1 July start, it would actually just entail kind of extending the current officers. If your fiscal year and chapter year ends, say on 30 December, it would be kind of a 6-month extension of those positions, with their approval. But I'm just kind of curious, would anybody speak up and tell us if that would be a major problem if we did standardize it to 1 July? And maybe all of you have 1 July.
Al?
Anyway, but go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, the only thing, I don't know why they changed our reporting period to 1 April to 31 March. That was way some time ago, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago when Dee was president. But there must have been a real good reason to do that. But now I want to ask you, with that in mind, if we change back to 1 July to 30 June, and since the IRS receives our e-postcards for our financial period, that would have to change also.
True, and we'll figure out with our accountant, and if I need to, I can contact the IRS. I used to be DCFO at Treasury, and the IRS falls under Treasury, so I know folks over in IRS. I could have a conversation with them about, okay, how do we do that? I think it's similar to the way the government, when they went to that fiscal year T period back in, what was it, like 74 or whatever, when they went to a 1 October timeframe. I suspect the reason Dee or whomever, set that fiscal year for the 49er chapter probably had something to do with the time frame in which our chapter awards program, worked. So yeah, we'll get back to you guys with any issues associated with doing that, but I'm going to wait until we have all the survey responses in, and then we'll address that. But good question, Frank. Thanks.
Yeah, let us know what, I know we can do that online through the IRS, but if you can let us know how we go about doing that.
Will do. Thanks.
And again, we thought you two might also have concerns regarding how to deal with the officers that are already in place. You could simply extend those officers to the next date and then have the election, prior to July 1. So it's just a matter of extending those terms until we would get to an election in June, so that the new board would start 1 July. I'm sorry, Astrid, did I interrupt you?
No, it was Deb. You interrupt. I just wanted to comment that I think it's a fairly straightforward thing, because in the corporate world, people change their fiscal year reporting timely. So I'm sure there's a way to do that. Also, with regards to the annual competitions and all of that, I do think, Al, you make a great point that there would be real advantage for all of us to be on a standard calendar. And that, if that can be the goal, that would be tremendous. Over.
You're on mute, Al.
It would really help us at national level in knowing when to expect the updated information on chapter officers. Because now, we're not sure, and frankly, a lot of those, either don't come in or come in, later. So this way we could focus on that, in the first month after that standard, chapter year. So yeah, I agree with you, Deb. It would be a great idea to do this. So more to follow as we check out those things.
And speaking of chapter officers, on to question 8, which flows nicely into that. Here is a listing of what you reported out regarding the chapter officers that you do or do not have in place. Obviously, chapter presidents was the highest. We were very happy to see that some of you are thinking about president-elect. It's a very crucial position to have in place. It makes a seamless transition. I think it would be very helpful for a lot of these chapters that we're having to reactivate, that if they had a president-elect, there wouldn't be a lag or a lapse there. So it's really something I would encourage you and your board to talk about so that someone is primed and ready to go. We were extremely happy to take a look a little further down that we had 100% of the treasurers and that we had 75% of the VP or whatever you guys might call it, the chair for membership. It's crucial. We've been pushing really hard, even given the pandemic, of reaching a net 2% increase in membership for this year from a national level. And to know that, that we have all of those membership chairs in place is great. We're going to be walking you through shortly, just in case you guys haven't taken advantage of it yet, on the Engage platform. We have a community set up just for treasurers, just for membership chairs, just for presidents. And that's where you can not only collaborate, but you can find information and documents that you can utilize to help your chapter. So thank you so much for these. And again, I can't emphasize enough the need for that president-elect position. Okay, next slide, Lisa. There we go. Yeah, we didn't really have a whole lot. A lot of the smaller chapters don't really have VPs for each of the specific organizations. I know the larger ones such as DC, Dan, I know that you do. So that really wasn't a big surprise for us, but we are going to be, when Lisa presents shortly on this new dashboard that's coming out, you will be able to see a breakout by specific organization. So we're hoping that will be helpful for you as well. And slide 10. Question for you guys, and I know that 65% said yes and 35% said no, but do any of you have, can any of you speak to the ways that you reach out to those who have recently attained their CDFM for like a congratulatory note or a phone call? Anybody have any ideas about that, or the things that your chapter does to recognize that accomplishment for your members?
So Libby, this is Dan, and I can share for
Thanks,
the
Dan.
Washington chapter, we actually have a chair position for CDFM, if I'm not mistaken, and we recognize them in our monthly newsletters.
All right, great. That's a good idea. I know that another one of the questions had to do with newsletters. We'll get a little further down into that, but that's a great way of doing it. Does anyone else have any input on that? Is there any other kinds of outreach that you do?
Hey, Libby, it's Deb. I think to Dan's point, the chair sends personal on behalf of the president of the chapter. And when we did have in-person monthly meetings, we would invite them and make that complimentary to really show the extent of our recognition of their accomplishment. And that was really well received. Over.
Nice. Yeah, nice. So some ideas for other chapters to think about. Newsletter, giving them a complimentary attendance at your professional development session, an email coming on behalf of, the president of the chapter. All of those recommendations are really, really good. So for those of you who do have certification chairs, we would certainly encourage that. For those of you who do not, we would certainly encourage you to get someone to focus on the certification portion within your chapter, because it is so very important. All right, question 11. All right, so here is a section where we really wanted to just reach out and ask you guys some of the things that you needed from us, or needed our assistance on. You can see the first response is how to reach and engage the local members. We're going to be going over that shortly when Lisa does the dashboard on Engage. Some of the other things that we were looking at earlier this morning prior to this meeting, help in figuring out how to get more guest speakers and encourage more participation. You can always reach out. We can talk to Al, and Al has a lot of contacts. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to the membership mailbox or to anyone really on staff. We're happy to help. Denali, is anyone here from the Denali chapter today? Okay, we're interested in getting some draft newsletters from chapters. So if those of you who are on the line, if you could please maybe email a copy of your membership newsletter to the membership mailbox, which is membership@asmconline.org, so that we could share this with Denali and with other chapters in the membership section of Engage. We have some information coming regarding adding value. What were some of the other questions, guys, that we were?
Hey, Libby, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
But I also wanted to share, per our discussion about newsletters, we also wanted to encourage chapter leaders to essentially share that type of information on the Engage platform. My colleague Melissa Blacketer will walk us through how to access that platform, but it's a great platform to simply engage with other leaders and as well as other members of ASMC. So it's a great opportunity and tool to share information and to brag on your chapter a little bit.
One of the other things we discussed before this meeting, and just to kind of close this all up, the next to last comment, number 35, how to jumpstart a chapter. We have, over the past 5 years, I would say we have jump-started a minimum of 20 chapters. And I feel confident in saying that. That's been a benchmark for us in our strategic plan every year. We work with those chapters individually, both the membership team and Al. So if you are needing some kind of jumpstart or a charge or that kind of thing, feel free to reach out to us. It's really, really important that we keep you active, and anything that we can do to help with that is our priority. We have also added in the new awards requirements, there is a section for setting up where you get points for setting up a meeting with the command to go in and speak with them about the benefits of ASMC and how it can benefit their workforce. It doesn't have to be someone from the chapter. It can be a speaker that you have come in, and you guys, the chapter would just do the logistics for getting the speaker in to talk with command to get support and buy-in so that ASMC can be supported. So if you take a look at the chapter requirements, the chapter rules, awards rules, you will see that in there as a new addition. If you guys have any other ideas, we are open to hearing them.
Yeah, Libby, if I may, one of the things that we've done whenever we've worked with chapters to reactivate, sometimes we'll have, the person who's serving as interim chapter president or stepping up as chapter president, provide me the name of the major commands on the installation and the contact info for their director of resource management, comptroller, or whatever. And, I love to send those folks a note and encourage their support, of that local chapter. So don't hesitate to do that if that's, part of what you need. I also recall that one thing we do is we help newly reactivating chapters source, maybe their first speaker for their first professional development session. I recall that Mr. Ed Gardner, our president, spoke to a chapter, I guess it's been about 2 months ago now. He actually exited the Pentagon and did it from his SUV.
Yep.
He couldn't access Zoom from his office in the Pentagon, but he did that. It went off great. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. It's one of the things we love to do, is just do anything we can to help chapters get back on their feet, especially after this tough COVID period. So that's fantastic. I want to also mention I think it was item 22, the better communication from headquarters out to chapters. So we all work really hard to communicate with you all. And, we don't want to overburden you with communication. When you think about me sending messages to chapter president, our newsletters and all of that. So we're careful and intentional about the frequency of our communication and the quality of our communication. If you have any ideas on how we can better do that, we would love to hear them.
We also, Al, just to add on to that, we also leverage the website. We leverage Engage. We leverage our social media accounts. So we're always looking for ways, all different kinds of channels and ways to get through to you guys.
True. And we'll share with you that our membership newsletters to the entire membership. At best, we get somewhere between, say, a 25 to 30% open rate on those membership newsletters, despite all the effort we take in, the content and everything. So to the extent you as chapter presidents can encourage your chapter members to use their personal email accounts as their ASMC contact rather than their office account due to firewalls and all of that, that's contributing to some of the issue we have in being able to communicate with you. And then I got to be frank with you, even the messages we send to chapter presidents, probably the open rate on those is sometimes no more than about 40%. So we are completely open to your great ideas on how to better communicate, because it's essential. Without effective communication, it's tough for us to grow and enhance the value of ASMC to our membership and the Defense of Financial Management community overall. Yeah.
Al, I have
Go
a
ahead.
question. Can you tell me whether or not the ASMC headquarters are now back in their offices? Because I've called the number several times and no answer.
We've had someone, our executive secretary and receptionist has been in the office since day one of COVID. It was her preference to remain there so we could receive mail and all of that. So Frank, I'm not sure what number you're dialing, but I'll talk with you separately just to make sure you're using the right number, but someone should be responding to you there. And my cell number, and I'm happy to give it out to every chapter, is 703-927-8343.
Can you put that in the chat, Astrid, so that they have it?
Yeah,
And again, the only reason I can think of that Donna would not be answering the phone is if, the switchboard is lit up, because it currently is these days with PDI, as you know, on the way, or if she is on, at a doctor's appointment or something like that, that could happen. We usually, if she's on vacation, we have a backup. Judd Lineberger, our finance manager, is usually there to pick up the slack. So we've been doing everything that we can to keep getting those phones answered.
So is your office still closed, or are they going back to work? I mean, back to in the building?
So Frank, we expect to be back in the office, possibly by the end of June, certainly in July, as things continue to improve. We've had a committee among staff work led by Libby in working on our return to office policy and procedures. Frankly, I'm looking forward to getting back into the office. I go occasionally, for things that I need to do there. But once the staff is back, it'll be fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
to be able to get through to us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So in the interest of time, I'm going to turn this now over to Lisa. Lisa Countess is our business analyst, and she has been working really hard on data that we think will be of use to you. So we'd like the opportunity for her to present to you what we've put together, and to get some ideas of other things that you might need that aren't included. As Al mentioned in the opening, we are really pushing towards a 2% net increase by June 30. So anything that the chapters can do to help is imperative, and anything that we can do to help chapters to help, we're happy to do as well. So Lisa, take it away.
Hi, everyone. First of all, my apologies that the dashboard I've been trying to develop isn't further along. We are in the process of searching for a new association management system. And we've just gotten the RFP to review this week. And so things have been a little bit hectic here. But my goal is to use the Engage chapter presidents community and the chapter membership chairs community to start feeding membership information back to you guys. And so far we're starting with the chapter growth report, which, and I'll enlarge this so we can see this a little bit better. But this essentially is a list of all the chapters by size category, and the member count as of the end of fiscal year 2019, fiscal year 2020, and then where we are currently for fiscal year 2021, and the change by month and since the previous year. Obviously, this needs to be updated a little bit. I need to add some more data to this. But I'm also planning to add CDFM counts to this, so you'll know how many people in your chapter are currently have their CDFM or their CDFMA, or if they're enrolled in the CDFM program. And then the breakdown of membership by organization. And I'm also thinking of including the breakdown of membership by age group, so that we can get a better look, or so that you all can get a better look of how many early careerists you have in your chapter, and maybe how many people are getting close to retirement.
Lisa, if I could interrupt for just a moment, we had a question from Kim Sue who wanted to know if they had access to that information. It will be posted, as Lisa said, in the chapter president section, as well as the membership chair section of Engage. We are going to be having a demo right after this, showing everyone how to get into the Engage platform, because that is where all of this is going to be shared. So
yeah, it is here. The dashboard is here when you log in and you go to the chapter membership chairs community, or if you go to the chapter presidents community, and Melissa will show everyone how to log in. The dashboard as it is here, and you'll see updates as I make them to the dashboard in real time. This data is not live data. It's not attached. It's not integrated with our AMS. When we do get a new AMS, it will be. So the data that you'll see for the next several months or year until we get the new AMS implemented will always be as of the end of the previous month. So for now, it's up to date as of the end of April, and at the end of May, or around June 1st, the beginning of June, we'll have the end of May, the end of May data uploaded. But I'm hoping to get some feedback from you guys about what it is that you would like to see, what type of information would be helpful for you above and beyond what I think might be helpful. So I'm happy to hear feedback on that now, or if you want to follow up in an email to me, that would be fabulous. But I'm here to help you guys and give you any information that we have that might be helpful to you.
all right. Anybody want to make any comments about that? There's also will be a place in Engage where there can be discussions about this as to other data points or data sets that you'd like to see. But are there any questions or comments for Lisa before we move on? We're running out of time. I think we got a little overly eager with our agenda, so I want to try to keep this moving as quickly as possible. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa Blacketer, our Associate Director of Communications and Public Relations. She is going to walk through with you how to get on the Engage platform. This is where we are going to be posting all of this information, this great information in all of these communities. It's also a great place for you to talk to others like you within your board, other membership chairs, other treasurers, chapter presidents, that kind of thing. So with that, Melissa, if you could go ahead and run through the live demo, And just so that you guys know, this is being recorded, so we will put it out so that people can see it at a later time and walk through it as well.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Libby. So as you've been hearing for the past almost hour or so about engage, and what it is. So myself and the rest of the communications team, we are in charge of the Engage platform. It's kind of another online community, internal community for our members. Obviously, it's a member exclusive online community. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And like Libby said, this will be recorded. And of course, if you ever need, you know, kind of a one-on-one, if you will, to log in and what, you know, really all entails, we're more than happy to set up that with you anytime. We're always here as a resource. So it is going to be your same, you know, email and password that you used for your member login. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Can everyone see my screen, hopefully? Okay. So I will do engage.asmconline.org. I'm there all the time, so it already auto-populates everything for me. But Lisa was wonderful in setting me up as a member, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in that way so you guys can see what it would look like for you all. So you should be hopefully familiar with this interface. So I'm going to go ahead and hit login. Then it's going to bring me to this is the home page, if you will, of Engage. Latest discussions will mirror the same thing as you would see on our main website, which is Now Trending in Engage. So anything that we do post on here will be on the main website as well. So obviously PDI is literally a week away. So we've been posting a lot about that as well as on our social media accounts. But what I really want to get into is to show you the great resources that we've been uploading and we will continue to use as a platform for you guys to be able to take advantage of, and the ACH form and member get a member, which Libby will go to later on, expand upon. So these are all of our communities, obviously, and the ones that I really want to highlight is obviously, you know, we have communications chairs, membership chairs, secretaries, treasurers. So I want to show you membership chair, obviously. So this is the report that Lisa was just discussing. So under library tab, that's just what Engage uses it as. This is where we'll be uploading, and we have uploaded. Oops, I'll move this here. So, excuse me. We have the chapter toolkit, ACH form. So we want to continue to leverage this and upload. You know, we can always, of course, email us, but we want to have this. So, oh, I can just go on Engage and download this form. I can go down to Engage and get, you know, the chapter toolkit and things like that, and continue to use it as a resource and a guide. And you can refer members on your according chapters, respective chapters, if you will. So, you know,
and it also has our past meetings on here, if I may, Melissa.
Yes.
So if there are things that you are looking for, videos or that kind of thing, those will be posted as well.
Right. So as of, so we'll work this week. Hopefully before PDI, we can upload the recording today that we're recording as of right now, obviously. And then we did the chapter town hall meeting back in November. We have the chapter toolkit here. So you should just be able just to go download here, and then you can download. So it's pretty intuitive, pretty, you know, user-friendly, but at first, you know, and please use it as a resource too, you know, like the Utah chapter, they, you know, obviously uploaded their VPDI, you know, they want other chapters and members to be able to see that and take advantage of it. They had their virtual 5K event. So we have all this here, you know, I know Libby's going to touch on this later too, but so don't want to take too much of your thunder, but we do have the value of ASMC that we've been working hard towards to getting that up there. And then if you go back, and then obviously if you're not a part of this community, you would just hit join community. In my own personal profile, I'm a part of like several communities. So we'll go back, and then, you know, as Libby was saying earlier, you know, if you ever have questions, you know, just use it as a dialogue on here. That's what we really want to, you know, provide for you guys is, you know, interact with each other. You know, you may have questions that somebody else might have, or, you know, anything like that. Just feel free to post on here. That's what it's there. That's what it's here for. So we just highly encourage our chapters to use that. We're here for you. We want you, you know, to get the most value and gain out of anything that we can provide for you guys. Go back.
Okay, great. So we have a couple of things, unless anybody has any questions, it's really simple to use. If you could go back out to the main website, Melissa, just real quick, so that they can see. Yeah, main.
Okay.
So they can
Okay.
see there is even a, oh, where is it? Oh, you're going out to the main. Got
Oh,
it.
sorry. Yeah, primary said private engagement.
You can see on the far right-hand corner, just above PDI 2021, literally all you have to do is hit that engage button and log in. So that's going to take you, she's already logged in. It remembered her, but that's how you access it. That is how easy it is. So I wanted to make sure that everybody saw that and was able to access that. And again, we're available to help. The next thing that we've been working on that I wanted to show you real quickly that Melissa is going to bring up is I don't know if you guys have seen the CDFM video that's currently out on our website, but we do have one now for membership. And we don't have it on the website yet. We're having some problems with getting it zipped and other things. We want to get it on Engage or at least someplace where you guys can access it. But specifically on the website, it will replace the CDFM video that's there now. And we'd like to give you a quick peek at that if we could.
Hopefully you can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
ASMC has been a great partner throughout my career in financial management, offering professional certification, PDIs to update.
Okay, we're missing sound, Melissa. I think it's just the streaming.
As safe as possible and come home to their families.
This is a great organization to be a part of. I keep hearing throughout my career that it's one of the top best programs that DoD has in professional development for civilians. ASMC really takes that serious to heart to plan people for your future, not just your future, but the future of DoD, to make sure that our skills and our competencies remain on point and we're ready to support the future, whatever that may bring.
I would encourage all, especially my young financial advisors out there, young in their career, you know, if you're just getting into the federal government, do not shy away from ASMC. It can be a great tool to help you progress in your career.
You know, what it is the premier organization for financial managers in the Department of Defense, and even broader than that, you know, to train, educate, and get more career advice from. It is the only organization out there that's looking out for our best interests in comptrollership. And so I recommend to anyone I meet.
We encourage people on our DoD financial management career roadmaps to join a professional society early in their career, and then to actually join a committee, and then lead a committee, and then actually become an elected officer. And it's a critical part of your career development is getting involved in an organization such as ASMC as you go throughout your career. I think
One of the biggest benefits is the opportunity to meet people that share your interest and to form that network. So there's certainly the practical aspects of career development and getting your CPEs and what have you, but also the ability to build your network and to build yourself as a leader.
So ASMC has played a big role in my career. It has kept me up to date with all the audit priorities, leadership challenges, things that they're facing, and allowed me to kind of incorporate those into my daily functions at work.
ASMC has allowed me to meet other professionals and work with other professionals. Working at the chapter level, I am meeting people from multiple organizations, and it's just a fantastic opportunity to get different insights from people who are smarter than I am, that just know a ton of stuff. And from them, I am able to expand my horizons and expand my knowledge.
So I think you can see we've been working really hard to get you guys tools that you can use to promote ASMC membership, ASMC certification, all those kinds of things. I'm also going to share with you real quickly. This is a copy, and I don't think I can blow it up here, but it's a one-pager regarding, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's a one-pager that we're going to be putting out there. I'm going to real quickly go through these things so that we have time for Q&A at the end, so I apologize my brevity. This is one of the things that you can utilize in promoting ASMC to non-members, either your chapter or you as an individual, and the value that you derive from that membership in ASMC. We also have, I wanted to show you one other thing that will also be posted out on the membership as well as the president's section. We are kicking off in June a member get a member campaign. More to come about that. There's going to be multiple emails, but it's basically you refer a colleague, they make sure that they include your name or ID number, and you know, the more that you refer, the more chances that you get for a $50 gift card. We'll be doing a drawing each month. So the more that you can refer members, you know, the better off that ASMC as well as your chapter is going to be. So more to come about that. And I know before we close and open this up for Q&A, I know that Astrid really quickly wanted to talk to you just briefly about the Zoom account and access to that for your chapter.
So yeah, thank you, Libby. Essentially, ASMC has a membership Zoom account, which is available to use by our chapters. Some chapters have used it, and it's at no charge to our chapters. It is a pro account, so we have the capacity to, I believe, have about 500 or so attendees, breakout rooms, recording capabilities, things of that nature. In respect of time, I went ahead and I copied or shared the request of use form for our Zoom account. Feel free to download, it's in the chat, feel free to download it, and you just complete it and submit it back to me, and that initiates the conversation, checking dates and things of that nature as far as availability, and we would go from there.
And can we put it also in the membership and the chapter presidents communities as well?
Yes, ma'am. I'm pretty sure Melissa has already posted it in chapter presidents for us, but we will definitely double check and make sure it's still there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we have any questions?
Yeah. Any questions? And Al, did you have any, closing comments, and leave it open to questions and answers from the chapters?
Sure. I'd just like to first see if anyone has any questions first.
I know it's a lot of information to throw at you, but we've just, through this pandemic, we've been working really, really hard to get you the tools that you need to be able to do the the job of membership. So
Yeah, okay, well, I really love our membership and CDFM testimonial videos. So I encourage you guys to use those at your next chapter professional development session. They're very short, like 3 minutes, and I think they're fantastic. Also, I don't know how many, I hope some of you have now received the spring edition of our Armed Forces Comptroller Journal. Its theme was Defense Financial Management, Back to the Future. It's going to be one of our keeper editions of our AFC. I hope you're receiving it. I received mine yesterday here at my home. So I'm glad it's getting out there before PDI. And I really encourage you to take a look at that. You're going to love it. Last thing I want to mention, we had just one comment in response to the survey that said, chapters should not be penalized, for decreasing membership or people not pursuing CDFM in this pandemic environment. So the last thing we would do is, want to penalize chapters for anything. We are so grateful for all of our chapters and the volunteers that drive those chapter programs and the value of ASMC at local level. We would never penalize a chapter. All we want—
chapters are the lifeblood of this organization.
They are. All we want to do is make sure you know that we are here to work with you, to assist you, to support you in getting back on your feet for those chapters that need it as this COVID, period lessens the impacts of it and all that. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We want to help you. And with that, thank you all. Libby, over to you for the last word.
That's all we have for today. We're looking forward to having another webinar in June. The focus is going to be on early careerists, and we're looking to have that, I believe, Astrid, on June 30. And again, look on Engage for the resources. And if you have any questions at all, feel free. Membership at asmconline.org. We're there for you. Thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, folks.
Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Bye, everyone.